Yeah, YouTube. Let me go add everyone on Discord because I think I forgot. Are we live on YouTube? Let's check. Yes, huge. Okay, so now let's see if it works. Strafing does not work. Very good. Love that for me. Okay, that's okay. That's fine. All right, let's see what shits has been changed. This is going to take quite a bit to... It's going to take quite a bit to get this going. It's weird. It's adding mapping context to the player controller, which I believe is obviously what we're doing. I followed... This is following a template, and I don't know where input context is actually being added. I would assume it's directly in the player controller. Where's begin play? Okay, we are adding the mapping context directly in here. That's good. No problem. We'll put sprinting in later. Let's just get basic movement working. I also skip mouse look on mobile controls because they interfere with each other. Man, shut up. Get this out of here, man. Get this mobile shit out of here. Mobile. Android, iOS. Why is that even in here? Okay. We do have to bind some stuff, but we'll bind that stuff later. I need to see why we can't strafe and move around properly. That is first and foremost. Get looking up and down working again. Okay, first thing, get looking up and down working again. Okay. So, why is that not working? Put this here. Wait, no, this is the other project. Put this here. I'm so lost. I'm lost in the sauce right now. Use control rotation. Nope, no. Okay, replicates, that's fine. Oddly enough, they're... Oh, I guess our player character net update frequency is 25 as well. Wait, since when was the player character net update frequency 25? I thought it was always 100. Is the default for the GMC pawn 25? For their update frequency? What? Oops, ass. I don't know how they are handling that. Okay, so the spring arm uses pawn control, inherit pawn, it inherits pitch, yaw, and roll. Let's see if we are doing the same for our camera boom. Yes. Yes. For some reason, I cannot look up and down. Now, that being said, mouse look is not in here. So that could be the problem, is the fact that we're using, we should do look. Let me copy over what they got going on for their looking around stuff. View has mouse X, Y, and right thumbstick. Let's fix this real quick because it's ridiculous. This is even separate. Okay. Axis with a scalar. Scalar, I would imagine, is probably just to make the sensitivity lower. by half. I'm assuming that's what that's for. We'll just put that in there just in case. Just in case, we'll put that there. Okay, so we got look. We can close move. Let's go back to here. Look has the thumbstick with a dead zone. And a negate. It negates the Y axis. I guess. I suppose. Sure. We need one more for mouse X, Y. 2D axis. That has no custom stuff inside of it. Okay, so now in here, let's see, can we look around again? Yes! However, moving is broken. This is me holding W. As you can see, yeah. Maybe there's something that needs to read from the control rotation or something in here. Let's see. If I were to guess, it's probably in the movement component that has like 5 million settings that I don't even know. I don't even know what's like going on in here. Hold on, chat. I'm just figuring this stuff out right now. They've also added some fall control. That's okay. We can probably change that stuff later. I just need to make sure that our moving around and looking around works. Right now, it does not work. Once we can get back to our original state, then we're good. Uh-oh. Why are we not running in the direction that we're supposed to be running in? Oh! If I were to guess... How is the movement actually happening? Wait. Where is the movement input happening? I don't even know where that's actually happening. Is that going on inside of the... Oh no, don't tell me that's happening inside of the movement component. Fuck off. There's nowhere where it shows that occurring. You've got to be fucking kidding. That's probably why you're hooking up the input action, is because they're handling the movement. I don't know how I feel about that, because now I have like no control over this. I'd have to override it and see. Oh, fuck. Now we're working. But are we working in multiplayer? This shit's somehow more delayed than... This shit's somehow more delayed than the regular movement component. I did see that the net update frequency is 25. Let's set it back to 100. So far, this is not feeling better than regular movement component. I'm sure with maybe a little bit more work. maybe with a little bit more work. Hold on. Let's actually wait. Before, hold on. Let's test it on. Yeah, let's test it in here. Just they're all running in standalone. Let's test it in here. Maybe we can determine. Hold on. Oh my god, that doesn't even, it's not even using network emulation. Oh my god, I guess I can target everyone. Dude, okay. Okay. You're a space Dan. I'm gonna be real, guys. Now, I haven't used GMC enough to be able to judge it right now, but I'm first impressions. It's not any better than currently not any better than the movement component, at least from a lag perspective. I'm sure there's a lot more things we could do to improve it, but maybe I just need to find maybe I just need to figure it out. Maybe I just need to yeah. Yeah, maybe I just need to use it a little bit more. What is the net priority by default on a player character? It's a 1, isn't it? I don't know, 3 is probably what we'd want. But what is the min nut update frequency? I'm pretty sure it has to be 25. Pretty sure. Honestly, part of me is saying fuck GMC right now. The other part of me is like, wait, we spent $1,000 on this or whatever it was, however much it was. Okay, let's do a couple things. Let's do a couple things first. Let's do a couple things. I don't think binding the booleans does any. Okay. Maybe there's a way of reducing the delay a little bit. Maybe there's a way of reducing the delay. I mean, we just have to fuck around with all of these like different parameters that we got going on in here. Let me close the demo because like I don't really need it right now. I was about to close OBS. That was gonna be not good. Okay, so we have input. Is there anything we can change in here to like maybe input output? I don't know if that actually makes any difference. It's very funny. There is like a delay on the movement, which I feel like I wasn't seeing that in the regular movement component, but I also really don't like the fact that it is handling the input for us. So I'd have to go into C++ if I wanted to add something to... Well, maybe I could still add stuff to this, and then it'll still call the movement. I don't know. I don't think you need to set those two parameters. Are you sure I don't need to set these two? So if I put this back in here, it'll still move around. No, it's not moving in the right direction. Could just be like, yeah, it could just be like these values are incorrect, which is highly probable. Okay, that's fine. We can just use that for now. I'm not like too concerned about that right now. I am concerned about, there's a little bit of like a latency. Like obviously there is latency, but I wonder, can we reduce it a little bit? Seems no. What we could do is we could do a submit right now, and then we can revert, and then we can kind of get a comparison between the two. I don't know if crouching is built into GMC movement. There seems to be a crouch. There does seem to be a crouch. Now I don't know if you can set it to crouch, because I swear I tried to check that. But that's the nav movement component, which I have no clue if that is something that built into. I don't even know. Nav movement component, it's probably like very UE4 character movement component. I want to find the C++ version for that, because I want to see what it's derived from. Damn it. UObject, UMovement component, UNav movement component. Okay. I'm going to guess that the GMC movement component oh god. Can I navigate to this in the thing? How do I navigate to this? Whatever, it should be right here. Core. That's for debugging. Cock. I'm curious if any of that stuff is actually like used at all. I don't know. Oh, actually, go back and open this. Damn it. What was my hotkey to go back to the other one? I don't remember. I still have to get used to this these hotkeys. Was it Shift I? Shift? How do I go back to the header file? I want to go back to the header file. Ah, F10. F10! Yes, F10. What happened to the sword thing? I just wasn't feeling it. Let me see. Is there even a crouch? Yeah, there's no crouch built into the GMC movement component. Which I'm sure we could probably figure out. I'd have to reopen the demo again. But I'm going to be honest. Maybe this is like... this will be better as I use it more. Maybe things will get better as I use it more. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe it'll be better as I use it more. Let's... Yeah, there are a lot of knobs. A lot of knobs. An insane amount of knobs. So, I am interested to keep it going. I just don't know if I want it to freeze development, just to try to get this to work. Let's just see, can we get crouching back in here and then possibly sprinting? Let's get crouching back in here. Let's see how they did it. Let's also get jumping back in here. I think we've lost jumping. So let's reintroduce, let's see here. Where's GMCV2 task? There it is. Re-implement jumping. Re-implement jump, crouching, sprinting. So we'll add in sprinting. That'll be a new thing. Re-implement jumping, re-implement crouching, sprinting. And then movement speeds. Our speeds are like way too fast right now. I don't remember what our speed was meant to be. Max desired speed is 800. I think the original is 300. I think 300 was the speed that we were going for. It's just, it's weird seeing a much larger delay. Or maybe it's placebo. Maybe it was fine. This is the exact same amount of. I'm here for the porn game development. You're in the right place. Was it 400? Maybe it is 400. Okay. Let me get it so we can strafe. So let's see, rotation, orient to control rotation direction. Yes, I believe that is what we want. We're missing some values in the animation blueprint. Great, we're gonna have to fucking fix that now too. Okay, so facing direction is incorrect. Facing direction, I believe, is based off of. We're just gonna put that in there, turn this off. It's fucking ass. I don't know who made that. They should be fired. Probably. The delay, see, etc. I just can't remember it all. Okay, because I think as I maybe I'll just give it more of a shot. Maybe I'll just give it more of a shot. Maybe there's something to the in the networking section where I can maybe improve some of those delays. Like we do have a server validation stuff in here, which I don't really care for. too much. So maybe when I adjust some of this stuff, that might be better. I don't know what upstream or downstream means. I don't know what the upstream, downstream, what interesting terminologies. Server authentication output, server validated. Client validated. Okay, I think there might be some stuff in there that we might be able to work with. It's a bit of rubber banding though, just kind of annoying. Okay, let's just bring that back to default. Yeah, we can look at this stuff. There's a lot of server authority stuff here, so I think as I learn what each one of these does, I think we'll be good. So here we have server authority output value validated server side puts more pressure on the client's upstream. Client authority output. So currently it's client authority or server auth output server validated. What if we do client authority output for the actor rotation? I'm curious, like what kind of we're currently not seeing any animations going through. It probably means there has to be some specific getters for getting the velocity. How do I get the velocity? I might have to go through the fucking demo and like look at the demo again. So get velocity returns the pawn's linear world velocity. But that seems to not be replicated? We have linear velocity GMC. Great, we don't have jumping. I gotta re-implement jumping. Okay, we're still not getting anything on client side. Big poop. Come on, there's gotta be a way to read the velocity that's like replicated, right? Right. I don't think this is the correct. Get requested velocity. This does seem that is coming from the organic movement component. Nothing on server side, nothing on client side. Okay, so that is definitely not what we want. I don't know which one to read from. Is it get the... No. It's not this, because I'm pretty sure... Hold on. It can't be that. That's bullshit. You're lying. Okay, so it's showing up on the server, but not showing up on the client. All right. How the fuck do I read the velocity? And which one's replicated? Get based linear velocity. Allows for accessing the integrated sync data of a pawn state from blueprint. What are you saying? Okay, hold on. Open the demo. Just open the fucking demo again. Show me the demo. I mean, how are they reading the velocity in their animation blueprint? Watch it be like the most convoluted bullshit ever. Watch it be the most convoluted thing ever. Or, actually, wait, it could be this. No, whatever, we'll see. Today is a good day. And by good, I mean horrible. And by day, I mean I wish it was over. It literally just started. Hey man, what kind of pasta are you making today? It doesn't work. Pasta that does not work. Pasta that I do not understand. Help. Where the fuck I am. I got like 3 random windows open in the middle of my screen and I don't... Okay. Good. Oh, okay. So I should be able to learn a lot just from reading what they do in their animation blueprint. Oh my god! Okay, so it... Get movement component. Interesting. So get movement component actually functions with the thing, probably because it's derived from the movement component stuff. Did they have a cast in there? It did seem, yes, they did. So I'm going to do it their way. Yeah, we do be throwing some delays in here. Yeah, shoot me. Which might be the problem. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? It could be. That could be the problem. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's just because there's no getter to the actual thing. I was about to buy GMC V2. Seems like I have to wait for next year's Black Friday sale. That's why I picked it up, because it was on Black Friday's sale. So what getter were they using? Get velocity returns the pawn's linear world velocity, which was the one that I was using. So it's highly probable the thing that was breaking is the getter here. No, still no response on client. I'm also getting some very weird jittering, which is not fucking fun. Whatever. This is, by the way, just on average network emulation, so it's really not supposed to be this bad. It shouldn't be. We're gonna have to do a lot of like adjusting, I think. So this was working before without a problem. We do have an is moving on ground, so I think what could be the problem is the should move is probably... Oh, right. What are they using for acceleration? They're using get speed XY for their current speed. Wait, hold on. Get speed XY. Get speed XY. Move this stuff. I'm getting claustrophobic in here, man. Thank you. And then we got some direction bullshit in here. Don't fucking care. I don't care. Get has jumped. Wait. Oh my god. They had to create their own functions for this. Can I copy these blueprint nodes? I can. I think it's get compute input acceleration rather than transient acceleration. I think that's why we're not seeing him move, but I could be wrong. I wish I could debug what's going on the client side, because I literally, I don't know, but I have a feeling that it should move. So let's just set that to true really quickly, just to see if that is actually the Boolean that's causing the problem. Okay. My guess is it's the acceleration. We have get input acceleration. But I want to read the acceleration. I think that's... Can I print string, and will that print string show up on each client? I think it should, right? It should show up as its own... Wait. Wait, what? Oh, right, because we didn't rehook that up. How do I only show this print string on the window that we want it to show on? Is that something, can we do that? Can we show print string only on the window that we want it to be on? Because I think I'm seeing values. By the way, I think I'm seeing... I think I am seeing those numbers going through. I think. I don't know if I'm reading it correctly, but it does... So I'm kind of confused as to why it's not working on the clients. Like, we could obviously just unhook that shit. And I'm not like, I don't really care too much about that. I don't know why we even have a should move Boolean in here, to be honest. Where are we using this? It's in a blend. From idle to walk/run. Which honestly is kind of fucking useless. Let's put an error tolerance of 1. Dude, I'm pretty sure it is computing the acceleration, or maybe it's just not. Maybe I'm just not getting the actual acceleration. Where is there? Is there some like documentation that tells me what kind of things are like replicated? Add acceleration, get transient acceleration, which was the one that we were using and it was not working. I think. I could be wrong, but... Crimson, what's the best version of UE5 in your opinion? I don't know, man. I haven't used it enough. Give me a few years. Give me a few years to deal with it. Okay, fuck the acceleration. Whatever, just get the ground speed. Whatever, just get the ground speed. I'm pretty sure this should work. If it doesn't work, then something's not right. Something's not right. Okay. Okay, we're back to the original system for movement, albeit there's a slight latency, which I'm pretty sure is because of the server authority stuff. We could probably circumvent that and potentially fix that. Next up on the block is I want to see how they're doing crouching. Crouching. Every version is good depending on your project. I don't want to give an answer because I don't know. I'm currently using 5.6. So far, it's okay. So far, it's going okay. Right? You know what I mean? So there's a crouch and there's a prone in here. I just kind of want the crouch. Not true for 5.0, 5.1, 5.2. Yeah, like, obviously, you're probably going to want to use more of like the latest stuff for sure. I would argue. So interestingly enough, they're doing all of this stuff within for me 5.6 has been pretty stable, but I have had some weird volumetric fog stuff coming up. Some very weird volumetric fog stuff. Very, very weird. The schizo purple bug. I'm telling you, it's real. And sometimes it's red. Sometimes it's orange. And sometimes it's pink. I bet you I open this shit up and I go randomly in a room and you're gonna see it. You're gonna see the random pixel pop up. It's gonna randomly pop up. I bet you. Watch this. Hold on, let me just some weird stuff on my screen. Hold on. I think it's when you lower your screen percentage below 100. I think that's when it occurs. So if I go in here and set the screen percentage to like 60, it starts like fucking it up. Am I using NVIDIA Studio drivers? No, I just get the game ready drivers. I don't even know which driver I have. I'm pretty sure I have like a driver from like the beginning of the year, and it works. And I don't really need anything else than that right now. So, all right. So crouching requires me to get the default radius and default half height. Derives from third-person movement, which has the sprinting. Dude, it's so fucking stupid. This is like pure object-oriented programming. Yeah, I drive this thing from this thing from this thing. Now this thing, it's like, oh my God, stop it. What is this? Maintain mesh offset simulated? When should I use the is valid node and why? To check if something's valid. So you don't get a null error and then start trying to do operations on something that's null. Also reduces the possibility of crashing, because of you trying to do stuff on things. And it also is a good debugging method, because then you can see if something is null or you have the incorrect reference to something, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, the base collision, but I'm... Let's see, Wowie! Interpolation. Good. There is a lot in here for crouching. There's a lot. I gotta say. Every time I come back, a new project has appeared. No, we're just looking at a demo. We're just looking at a demo for some code and stuff. Is this the blueprint back rooms? It definitely fucking feels that way. Measure offset. Part of me is thinking we should have just taken this blueprint and the third person movement one and just migrated it. Because I'm basically going to be copy pasting a lot of this shit anyways. You know what? You know what? I might just do that. I might just do that. I might do just that, actually. You know, I might actually do just that. Yeah. I might actually do just that. I don't know if I can actually migrate assets from this because it's in a plugin. Let's see. If I do migrate, what kind of files are going to migrate? BP, third person movement inputs. I do not need the inputs. GMC crouch prone demo. Crouch prone. Let me, we're going to unhook the inputs because I don't care about those. I don't think I need them. Except for maybe crouch and prone. Let's take those just in case. Now these are technically associated to a plugin, but if I put them straight into a content folder, will it break anything? Okay. Hold on. Okay, I definitely don't need these inputs. We can go ahead and delete these. It's probably gonna have a reference to stuff. We can force delete that. That's fine, no problem. We got crouch prone movement and then TP movement. I believe that was the only files it sent. Third person character. Yes, I believe that is good, which is great because that's all I want. Hold on. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, thank you, Peak. Yeah, it's cool. Unify. How's the sloppening proceeding? We are switching over our character movement component stuff to the GMC movement component stuff now. Let's go ahead and just move this to the respective folder. Then we can go ahead and fix up redirectors just in case. Yep, we did move those. That's fine. We can delete this folder because we no longer need it. Okay, so now we have GMC. So we have the GMC movement component. Let's go ahead and derive this one from... Oh, okay. This is going to derive from the TP crouch prone movement. which is then derived from the TP movement, and then the TP movement is deriving from the organic movement. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. We do have a sprint. We're going to use the proper sprint. Triggered and then completed. I guess we're going to put the movement stuff in here, although I'm not hugely fond of that, but whatever. What can you fucking do? Triggered and then completed for the jumping. It's fucking stupid. Whatever. It gets us somewhere. I feel like a fucking script kiddie doing the shit that I'm doing right now. I'm gonna be honest. Doing the shit that we're doing right now, I feel like I am fucking scripting. It actually is kind of cringe. Okay, crawling we do not care for right now. Crouching I do care for. I don't think we're going to have a crawling. I'm pretty sure that's just going to be automatic, but we'll see. I do kind of like the repo thing where you can kind of like go into like a ragdoll mode. I don't know if I'll put that in my game. What GPU am I using? RTX 3070 Ti, I think. I keep forgetting my stuff. So now that we did that, let's see if all of our stuff is working. We got crouching. Yeah, we're cooking. We're cooking whatever that ball is. Bunch of chemicals and shit. All right. Sure. How are they reading when they're crouched? Has jumped. Get has jumped. Let's check if... Okay. I guess we'll leave this open real quick. Okay, hold on. Is jumping working again? Seems like there's a slight delay. Can I copy that and move it to my other thing? Let's find out. Yes! Oh, but shit. We need a... Is airborne. Sure, I suppose. Which, by the way, I think we kind of have an is airborne, but this will be our new is airborne. Dude, this little debug thing is so annoying. Saved movement mode is a current movement mode. Wait, I'm confused. Why do we have current movement mode and saved movement mode? And what is the difference? Am I crazy in thinking that that is kind of unnecessary? Like, there's two variables doing the same thing. I want to say we don't need that. So save movement mode is going to become current movement mode instead, which should start working. Current velocity is just velocity because it has split pins. That's crazy. Can't just like figure that out or something. Okay, now we have get has jumped, which is great for us. I do like the current stance in here. That does mean that we can check if we're crouching. We're golden. I love the cast to the current stance. I should be able to just do this. Uh-oh. There we go. Try to make something in Unity right now. I couldn't do anything, so I'm going back to Unreal Engine 5. Just how it goes, man. It's just all of these other engines, you're going to have to do a lot more manual work yourself. Like, that's just the reality of it. And that's both good and bad in its own ways, right? It's both good and bad in its own ways. I think as I become more, as I get more into this stuff, I gotta say, I think I'm finding some interest in doing stuff myself, but also not at the same time. I know that's like not helpful at all, but yeah. Let's go ahead and copy over has landed as well, because I'm sure that will come in handy. So saved movement mode is actually current movement mode, and then is grounded. I guess we'll just create an is grounded. I don't think we need it, but whatever, sure. Can you make a tutorial on wind echoes locomotion? No. I'm not the guy for that. I'm not a tutorial guy. Ask any of the other 15 game dev YouTubers to make a fucking tutorial for it. I don't do that shit. Not me right now writing my own wrapper for pathfinding with some utility methods. Dude, I think that shit is sick. I think anybody making their own stuff is awesome. You were a tutorial guy though? Yeah, and then I quickly realized I fucking hated it. Because once you become a tutorial guy, you are just the tutorial guy. You'll have people going into your like trailers for games and be like, dude, that's so sick. Can you make a tutorial on how to do that? So I can just steal your code and just remake your game or something? I like those videos. I like making tutorials once in a while, but I'm just not interested in it. I used to mod a tutorial guy's Discord server. Cursed. Yeah, I'm not getting back into that space, like, at all. I am not getting back in that space. Not happening. 5 push-ups? Oh, come on, man. Dude, I'm on a roll with the copy pasting, man. Yeah. I'm not doing tutorials anymore. I'm down to help people on stream, but like I can't help you if it's like, how do I do insert thing here? I can't, it's not really like what I do. I just realized something. I copy pasted this get. No, okay, no, it's fine. The stance and the movement mode are 2 separate things. Can you use Unreal's pathfinding stuff without doing a bunch of extra work, like post-processing the generated navigation paths and make them look like less robotic? I don't know. That is one problem with using like the built-in pathfinding stuff. I don't know. Okay, I don't need these comments. I'm not a fucking noob. I'm gonna be honest. I don't need these comments. I know what this code is doing. It's the most basic fucking code ever. Commenting just for the sake of fucking commenting. It's so ass. Oh, let's just comment. No, dude, you don't need to do that. Just fills up the whole screen and it just looks like shit. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. I said. Okay. Is grounded, is airborne, is falling. So we do have a has jumped. Did they? Oh, they did create booleans for that. I feel like that's kind of unnecessary, but maybe if you use these functions, then it breaks fastpath or whatever the fuck it's called. So I guess, so let's do has jumped. Interesting. Doing even the simplest of is more than 100 removes fast path. Huh. That's funny. Is falling, we could use is airborne. Is falling and is airborne sounds like the same thing. GMC $600, Mr. Millionaire over here getting the fancy assets. You guys, I'm gonna say this right now, chat. That's not that much for what they give you. For what they give you, don't get me wrong. Like I have not fully played around with it yet, but I can tell this asset goes like fucking far and beyond in terms of like networking and everything. And I would tell you right now, if you were to make your own system like this, you'd be wasting a whole lot of fucking hours, work hours, just to do that. I still gotta understand how these fucking transition things work. I don't fully understand. So has landed would get hooked up in here. That being said, it has fast path still, so we should be fine. But let's see if like any of the animations are better. Huh? Wait, why is it equal to airborne? Hold on, it doesn't make sense for get has landed. Wait, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Wait, hold on. Wait, what? Get has jumped, grounded is equal to... What? Oh, current movement mode, saved movement mode. Oh, I see why they did that now. They're in betweening it. Oh, cock. So this is actually, that's making sense now. So in between that, they have a current movement mode and then saved movement mode. So we actually probably want to sort this differently. What makes GMC so much better than regular CMC? It is the amount of fucking control that it gives you is insane. And on a networking basis, like, look at it, just this. You have a bunch of different settings for different, like, server authoritative or client authoritative for prediction and all these other things. Like, it's kind of insane. I'm still trying to figure it out, so give me a bit. Give me a few weeks. I'm still trying to figure it all out. Yeah, and then there's like property binding for like replication. So you can like bind variables and then assign what kind of prediction or simulation and whatever to it and whatnot. Like I'm just trying to figure this stuff out. So yeah. Is that better for networking or just more modular? Way better for networking. In terms of if you wanted to use it for single player, it has a bunch of controls to allow you to completely change the your capsule. So instead of being locked to the character pawn, it's instead allowing you to change all of this stuff. You can use a box if you wanted to. You can use a capsule that has like flat top and bottom. There's a lot of controls there. So I think it really just depends on your game. Yeah. Yeah, the sprinting right out of the box. Now, I have only briefly looked at the sprinting, but the sprinting is... let's actually see if it's working right now. Yeah, it is. So the sprinting, I believe, is already like multiplayer ready. Let me just make it faster, just so we can kind of see it in action. He's levitating. I don't know why the has landed is not... Oh, yeah, I know why it's not working. It's because we had to hook up the saved movement mode again. Okay, hold on. I'm understanding why it is the way it is. I'm understanding why it is the way it is. It's like a frame behind, and that's how it's doing its like jumping and landing stuff. Gnarly stream today. Gnarly is not the word of the day. The word of the day is what the fuck? Word of the day is rage bait. I don't know. The word of the day is... So wait, hold on. I gotta see where's the other instances of saved movement mode. Oh, it's just those two places for landing and jumping. Okay, sure, I guess. Whatever. Fuck me, I guess. Is the unarmed animation blueprint the original animation blueprint? Yes, it is. It's just derived from anim instance. You can see that in the corner here. So has jumped and has landed. We hook those up, I believe. I believe we hook those up. Definitely have some more stuff that we need to do, but good start. I'm going to have to figure out how we can reduce some of the latency. I think it's because there's a lot of server authority stuff that's going on and validation that honestly I don't really care for personally, especially in a friendslop game. So we're just going to have to figure out how to reduce that stuff. Because like you can see there's... Like, here's the thing. We notice the latency a lot more because we can literally see it. Whereas in an actual game space, it might be very different. But... we might want to change that. Also, crouching. Let's figure out how do we reduce... So I'm going to close this demo so then I can work a little bit faster here. Let's go to crouch. So is crouched... How do we adjust those values? I also want to see if crouched is currently enabled. Let's actually hook that up to the animation blueprint right now. So then that way, we can actually start fucking around with that. Movement component is crouching. So actually, we want to check current stance. Oh, if we do an equals, that's not going to cut it, is it? What does GMC exactly fix if you could simplify the explanation? It makes anything on multiplayer much easier based off of what I'm seeing currently. Now, that being said, I'm still learning all this stuff, but you're basically binding booleans or binding variables and whatnot, and then it will basically do prediction for you and whatnot. Seems like that's... I'm still figuring it out, chat. You're asking the wrong guy. I'm not a fucking, like... not a representative of this plugin. I just just a guy. I'm just a guy. Can you explain the whole plugin, please? Okay. I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna freak out. Okay, where is crouch half height? There we go. So that's set to 60. So let's go ahead to our movement component. We should have all of that in here. Crouch half height. Okay, so currently it's 60. I think what we did for crouching is it's like 30 or some shit, or even like 25. So let's just do 25. I changed it in the wrong spot. That's fine. Crouched walk speed is 400. We're going to make that slower. We're going to make it 200. And then we need to fix the animation blueprint again. If I add an equals in here, it's going to remove fast path. Unless you can do a binding to a byte and do an equals operation. But I don't think you can. Okay. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. Explain the origin of the universe, if you would. 6, 7. The engine doesn't handle prediction out of the box. Definitely not out of the box, no. Make it all super smooth. Like you can, there's a lot of variables from what I can see, Monk, but I don't know. Like I said, you guys are asking me way too many questions. I'm literally just getting it all set up right now. I'm getting it all set up right now, chat. Like I'm trying to figure this shit out myself. Right now I'm copy pasting like a fucking script kiddie because I don't know how this shit works yet. So you guys are asking the wrong fucking guy. I'm getting rage baited. No, don't excuse it for rage bait. Don't overuse that word, okay? Because you guys are being fucking doofuses, okay? Nice, and it even handles crouch lerping. All right, watch this. All right, I set the sprint, but the sprint isn't even set up properly. Hold on, go back to sprint. Sprint speed. Where's sprint speed? Where the fuck is the sprint speed? Oh, shit. Okay, go back to TP movement, because TP movement has the speed. Ah, sprint speed is just multiplied by 1.25. That would be... our current movement speed is 400, so that would become 500. I think. I don't know. I don't remember the numbers. We can definitely see it in the player character. And I can tell the animation is different because we don't have footsteps on the sprint animation. It doesn't feel much faster though, so honestly we should probably 1.5 multiplier. What would 1.5 on our default speed be though? Okay, our default speed is 0. Hold on. A default speed I'm pretty sure is being set from here. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait. Okay, hold on. Please hold. Max desired speed is 8. No, it's not. God, I hate this already. Max desired speed is 800. No, it's not. It's... You motherfucker. Crouched walk speed, 200. Prone walk speed, 200. Max desired speed, 800. I have it changed in here. Oh, God. I'm getting lost in the sauce right now. I'm getting lost in the sauce. Quick question, do you do prototyping quick during do the software parasite, or do you do it right way with the architecture in mind, like using interfaces and events? I code kind of proactive, you know, code it correctly-ish the first time and you'll be fine, but I'm not the best person to ask when it comes to prototyping. I'm not like proper prototyping. I kind of do a lot of polished stuff that I shouldn't be doing, but I do. So if it's 400 and we multiply it by 1.5, it would be 600, right? Yeah, 600 movement speed for sprinting. I think I'm okay with that. We can make it look faster with some, like, some effects and stuff. I still think, dude, the latency is fucking weird. I do want to change that. Anyways, hold on. I need to see if we can crouch inside of the vent again. Yeah, some slight FOV changes, 100%. I feel like that did not work the first time. Wait, hold on. Something is being moved, and I'm pretty sure I have an event tick for that. Oh, here it is. Now, ideally, we would like to do some stuff like this, but let's just do this. Technically not correct. Probably not the correct spot to do this either, but whatever. Can you jump in the fire? Not yet. It doesn't actually deal any damage. I think something is not right. What is the relative location of this? 30. Okay. I think it's supposed to be 55, actually, as a matter of fact. Yeah, there's a little bit of, I got to figure out what the, it has to be some sort of like server authority checks that's making the latency a lot larger than I actually want it to be. I do like that the crouch has a lerp now, which is good. Oh, dude, hell yeah. Look, it's even interpolating. Is it interpolating? There's no way. Show collision. It is interpolating the capsule. Oh my god. Not only is it fucking interpolating the actual camera movement, it's also interpolating the capsule itself. Okay, okay, okay. Do they have a health system? We don't have any health yet. Do not have any health yet. So what I'm curious, inside of this system, you're binding booleans, right? And by reference. Does that mean every time that we set this value, it's going to... So we don't actually need to set this to replicated. We just bind it. And then it will do it for us. Huh. Ah, we make a tutorial on using child animation blueprint. I don't even use child animation blueprint. I think I fucked around with it one time and I was like, why am I dealing with it? I was like, why am I dealing with this? Okay. Sprinting is back. Very good. I do want to figure out the latency issue. Let's take a look at our list. Jumping. Jumping is in, however, our jump height is too high. Reduce the jump height. Let's figure out where that is. What's the game? It's a friendslop game on a train. That's about as dumbed down as I could do it. it's about as dumbed down as I could do. Let's see, jump height. Can jump is set to false. Interesting. What if we go here and then we change the jump? Okay. I don't know how jumping works. Let's find out. Jump force, and then jump force is in here, and it is a static value. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's real good. Yeah, that's good. Very good. Okay. Maybe we do like hopping. No, I'm okay with like increasing that a little bit. Let's do 500. Let's increase the gravity. There's so many things going on here. Hold on. Yeah, I think that's a good height for jumping. And then we have a nice fall speed, fast fall speed. Yes. Okay. Let's start cooking. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with food. Oh yeah. All right. Let me double check and make sure that the inventory still works. Uh-oh. Get player character return value. Get component by class is not a U class. Get player character is not a U class. Oh, right. Because this no longer derives from player character. This is now a player pawn. Uh-oh. Okay, any and every instance where we use get player character, we need to delete it. Or move it to get player pawn. Forgot about that. Okay, luckily it seems like we only had 2 spots we were using it, supposedly. I'm doing pretty good at the multiplayer thing, chat. You gotta say I've been doing pretty good. I think I've been learning it pretty well. I can't crouch jump anymore. No. I don't know how that fell through the wall. Actually, I kind of know because like we've had that issue before. One second, please. One moment, please. Get actor eyes viewpoint. Does that not work anymore? I have a feeling that doesn't work anymore. Get actor eyes viewpoint. Oh, that sucks. I don't think... Okay, base aim rotation should be the right one. Hold on. Ah! Why is it being dragged left? Because it wasn't getting the right thing anymore. Also, weirdly enough, at certain angles, this cube clips everything. It wasn't able to get the right rotation because it doesn't... The GMC component does not use the base eyes, actor eyes viewpoint. I did notice something weird though, right there. It works fine now. I did see it clip through something again though. Is smooth sync just like breaking now? No, I don't think so. I think it's fine. Okay, well, we fixed that, I believe. So we got that for testing. Reimplement jumping. Reimplement crouching. Okay, sprinting is in. Movement speeds are in. We've now converted the player. to GMC v2, even though I still don't fully understand what the hell this shit's doing. So we'll be right back. We'll understand all of this at some point in the near future. Now I know, though, we cannot use get player character anymore. We now have to use get player pawn. So that's the new goodie. New unlock. Now he's going to end stream. Not yet. Not yet. We still got a little bit. We still got some stuff we need to do. We've literally technically done nothing today. Okay, so I need to find out how to reduce the latency, because it seems like there's a lot of like server authority stuff that's kind of getting in the way of making this feel nice and smooth, or relatively smooth. So I'd like to figure out, let's take a look maybe at the documentation. So there is a little bit of a latency. I'm curious how to reduce that latency. Networking introduction. Any new movement coach be added to the functions. Primarily by using network bindings, not by marking variables replicated. So this part is cool. The whole like network binding stuff is crazy cool. Could you, in theory, bind anything else that's maybe not movement related? Many people do? There are 4 categories of settings in total. The first one is called prediction mode. In terms of the variable is synchronized between client and server. Possible values are server auth and client auth that determines whether the client or the server will have authority over this value. Generally strive for server authority. So we usually want to go with server auth here. The only exception are variables that represent the player's input. Combine mode determines how consecutive input values will be combined to save bandwidth. Oh yeah, this is sick. That's sick. What was the thing to switch from DX12 to DX11? I want to say it is in here, in platforms, Windows, and then I set it to direct DX11. You might also need to do some ini file stuff, because I'm pretty sure that shit fucking didn't 100% work properly. Of course, yeah. There's a lot of text in here. My brain's going to take me a bit to read. I want to see if there's like a quick and hacky way to reduce some of the latency, even if it is not necessarily server authoritative stuff. Uses a fully server authoritative approach in this chapter. We'll take a closer look at the client authoritative movement and how it can be utilized with the GMC. usually higher upstream traffic on the client side because the client has to specifically inform the server of every aspect of its state. This is not simply a case of ticking a box. No! Property of the data is a networking paradigm. Think about the settings of each individual variable and how you're going to handle that variable in your game. Prevent any moving logic from running on the server for client-owned pawns. Oh shit, it's going that client authoritative. We can do this by overriding the should skip prediction tick function. Movement is only calculated locally by the owner of each pawn. Okay. Friendslop game, I feel like we don't need server authority for this type of stuff, right? Maybe we can find a way of setting these settings, but I don't think so. I think it's better to just do client authority. Like, fuck it. Like, I really don't think server authority is really, like, necessary in this situation. So, we need to override should skip prediction tick. And then they have another thing here as a not, or is autonomous. I forget what autonomous proxy versus simulated. I forget all those fucking things again. If we are the autonomous proxy on a client, which would mean that we are the proxy. I forget all these fucking terminologies, man. Who cares if you cheat and train rot? I care. And then some of the replication settings. So these were some of the things that I already saw previously. In networking, actor base can become client authority output. Linear. You guys see this shit? Do you see that? What the hell was that? What the hell was random ass window appearing in the middle? Okay. Oh, hey, look at that. It's there again. Local. They're literally setting everything to client authority output. Everything is client authority. Control rotation. I don't know why the control rotation is set to local. I'll leave that as client authority input. Actually, let me see. Local. The drop down is not working and I cannot see the actual, this is no longer an actual tab. Where was I? Okay, I think it's time to restart. I'm noticing, it's time to restart. I think it is time to restart the engine. I'm noticing some weird things going on. Some very odd peculiarities occurring in the engine. Okay, so let's go back down. So control rotation local, no network synchronization, although I would like to have some network synchronization. So I believe it was client authority input. Okay, so we'll leave that one there. Actor base combine if unchanged, and then these are set to default, and then we got periodic output, periodic output. Control rotation set to none. So I don't know. In your original situation, for example, if you had an aim offset in your animation blueprint for controlling the head of your character based on the control rotation directions, this would not be visible to other players with the setting because the control rotation is set to a local property in the screenshot and is therefore also not set to replicate for simulation. Okay, right. So I actually did the correct setup here by keeping that where I want it to be. Next, we have to deal with the default bindings that are already implemented to the parent class. Go to the default bindings category and change the settings in a similar manner as above. They're not grouped by node here. Additional set of bindings are built. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, default bindings we saw above here. Raw input vector prediction mode, local. None. We're gonna have to learn all this. Current root collision shape prediction mode. Local? None? I don't know how much of this we actually want to change. I think some of these I might adjust a little bit. Movement mode, prediction mode. Just that is set to client authority output. Received upward force. So that would be jumping. Local? Interesting. And then has a root motion prediction mode local as well. Okay, wait, is multiplayer still going to even work? Well, hold on. If everything's local, how much movement is actually occurring? Uh-oh. It would appear crouching has made us go into the ground. So, where was those settings for, which was the settings for the root collision? So we'll do client authority output, shape simulation periodic output, then we got local here, server authority output, client validated. Let's do client authority output, periodic output, and then let's see if now our crouching works just fine. Now that we do client authority for it. Interesting. Hmm. Server authority output client validated. Input output? I don't know. I don't know what input output is. We're gonna have to learn what that means. It's doing something. What were some other settings that we changed? I think it has to be the default bindings, I'm pretty sure. Raw input vector prediction mode, local. Let's bring that back to server authoritative for the root collision, because that's fine. Let's see if that fixes the crouching real quick, just because I want to see. Okay, interesting. Very good. Very good. Yes, yes, very good, very good. Show collision. Interesting. Interesting. Yes. Movement mode prediction. Hey, Vorval. How are you? Well, you know, we're doing okay. I think that has something to do with the actor base. Right? Isn't that the actor base? Let me double check. No. I was hoping that we could set some of this stuff to client authority output, but let me hold on. Let's read this. Let's read this a little bit more. Hold on. You would usually mark as server authoritative, but you should set the prediction mode to local instead this time, and the simulation mode to none. Insert proper moving combining without sending any data across the network. Disable rollback and client replay. Oh, interesting. Oh, whoa. Okay. Okay. Wait, hold on. So this would still be this and this. I don't know why crouching suddenly went broken, but hold on, let's see here. Okay, so crouching works again, but only on the server. I want to see if this was actually working at all. Now I'm curious if it was always working or not. Let's reset all of this stuff. Let's reset all of that stuff. Now I just want to see, did the clients have any sort of server can crouch without a problem? Although now he's kind of freaking out a little bit. Is that because of the prediction settings? Okay, crouching no longer works. We actually, it might be because of the way that it is handling crouching. Client authority input. Simulation mode, periodic output. Hmm. Okay. It's going to be interesting to figure out how this works. So let's do this. We'll revert what we did. We're also going to have to revert the should skip prediction tick. Just need to see if the clients were working. Okay, so the clients are working. It's just the timing is kind of off. I think what it might be is like when you change certain stuff in here. So let's see, server authority output client validated. What if we do client authority output? Can't be changed at runtime though. So like if we were to make a server that's like a server option that's like safer, it's like not really a thing. Okay. I'm curious if, without completely messing all of this up, let's see if we can change a couple things. And I'm slowly going to learn what each one does. So that's server authority output client validated. What if we do client authority output? All of these. What happens then? Because I think that's how it was set up before. I'm just curious. Still, I'm curious. If we go to the crouch movement, wants to crouch, periodic output, what if we do periodic and on change output? I want to see like what difference is there with that? Is that like instantaneous? If we set the simulation mode to none, we do have the current stance here, which also kind of sets it to crouched. Might actually, okay, it might actually be this, but what it might actually be, server authority output client validated. Let's do just client authority output for the stance. I wonder if that. Okay. And then we set the simulation mode to none. I would assume we no longer see it happening. Gotcha. Okay. So I'm curious what the difference between input and output would be. All right. Forgot to do compile. It compiles automatically whenever you hit play. I'm not too worried about that. So I see the wants to crawl and wants to crouch. is client authority. So we set this to client authority output. Not a problem. Honestly, not too worried about that. Yeah. Where did I use locomotion animation? My animation blueprint? My animation blueprint is literally the third person template. I haven't done like anything necessarily different to it. This is literally the third person template with some slight modifications to it so we can like prototype crouching and whatever poses, but other than that, everything else is everything in here right now is all just template stuff. It's all the template stuff. Yep. You're okay. So now let's see if we can maybe remove some more stuff. There was some mentions of rollback. Don't know if that's currently enabled. Client replay and client prediction. Predict the movement of clients locally to hide network latency. Use client replay. So maybe we can turn off client replay. Lag compensation. So where is lag compensation? Rollback server pawns. Rollback client pawns. So if we turn off all of this stuff, what happens? How do we end up looking? You can't really spam crouch. I wonder if we can make it so you can spam crouch. What you're doing? I'm hooking up the, or well, learning as well, the GMC plugin. We have it all hooked up now, but now it's just a case of like reducing some of the latency and whatnot. Obviously, that means we're providing a little bit more client authority, but that's not a big deal to me. Okay, so we turned off rollback, or I believe we turned it off. Oh, we have smooth correction here. I guess we can leave that in because I think that's just on the client. So the new mover component? No, this is the third-party plugin. Server auth output client validation for received upward force prediction mode. So if we do client auth output for that, does that make crouching, or not crouching, sorry, jumping more instantaneous? We end up with a little bit more hacky stuff, but probably make do. Yeah, I haven't even checked out Mover 2.0 or whatever it's called yet. Ideally, at some point, I'd like to. But right now, I'm trying out GMC, which is kind of like the plugin that I went and picked up. So it will be interesting to see how well this works. Hmm. If we turn this off, what happens? Use client prediction, what happens then? Oh my God. It gets to a point where you actually like, it's the, even just moving the mouse is oh, okay. Interesting. And I would assume that's where we tried to mess around with the other stuff. Wow, okay. Let's see if we can somehow make jumping a little more instantaneous. Client authority input, max desired speed. Can jump. Okay, so output client validated. Not like a huge concern. Honestly, everything's looking pretty good. Picked up for $2,000. No, GMC is not $2,000. It's I forgot how much it was. I don't want to remember, guys. Okay, I don't want to remember. Don't remind me. Do not remind. I don't want to be reminded. Paid for it? Yeah, GMC V2. It's a fab plugin. I also picked up Smooth Sync. Smooth Sync is pretty cool. I'm curious though, because I'm seeing some stuff that allows to do allows you to make other actors part of the GMC system, so that might be interesting. I'm already using Smooth Sync for these items, but you can see like there's a slight delay when we throw items. I gotta do some stuff there. I wonder if I could do something there. Yeah. How do you do the drag and pull mechanic? It's just physics handles, and then on the local side we do like the hand stuff, like attaching a hand widget and whatnot. Which looks pretty fun. It's pretty fun. $600, I would have just used the new mover component. I don't think the mover component, I'm pretty sure the mover component is still experimental. I think about making a feature where you can sell items you get to buy fuel, or are you only picking up fuel? Any item can be used as fuel. Obviously, there'll be items that are more suitable for fuel, like random pieces of coal or whatever. But anything can be used for fuel, and then in theory, anything could be sold at a shop. And then, of course, there will be items that are like, you know, that you might want to use, like tools and whatnot, flashlights, stuff like that, for sure. We do have to make that entire system. Might be experimental, but it's used by Fortnite as the future to replace the current moon component. I'm sure it has its value. I don't know. I just wanted to try GMC plus tax write-off. I still need to figure out this latency, this slight latency that we have. Now, might just be just the reality of it. But I don't remember it being this much latency. If I turn off no smoothing, what happens? We actually get nothing interesting. I wish these had descriptions. We have adaptive buffered, unbuffered simulation, forward simulation, local simulation. Interesting. Adaptive buffered and forward simulation. Curious. You got the train? We do have a train now. We have some form of a train. Oh, interesting. It's like kind of rubber banding a little bit backwards. Interesting. Okay, so adaptive. What is sync interval? Hmm. I think there's ways that we can make this even more client authoritative, but I would be interested to see more of this stuff. Like right now I'm just pushing buttons dangerously. Dangerously pushing buttons. But it's not bad for now. And honestly, should move forward from here. Other friendslop games have some kind of revive mechanic. Are you going to go about that in your game? I don't know yet. I know the reviving, you'll revive in between stations for sure. So when you end up at a station, but that might take a bit of time. Like that could be like 5 minutes or something. So we'll see. Maybe there's going to be other forms of ways to revive other players. But yeah, we'll see. You're making me want to ditch making my current game and just make some friendslop multiplayer game. I've just always wanted to do multiplayer, and a friendslop game seems like a really good introduction into it. It's not like super intensive combat systems or anything like that. It's just goofy shit with friends. A little bit of physics. I would say physics is definitely probably going to be our biggest culprit of a lot of things, but that's about it, really. What? Oh my god, I gotta fix that. I don't know why. Why does that happen? Hey, got a problem here. Hey, Vsauce here. What the hell? This shit's fucking going through the floor and shit. Is it because it's taking too long to load the mesh? No way. Could it be the velocity on spawn is giving us an incorrect value? Don't you need continuous collision ticked on? I do new. I do new. I do new. Maybe this engine mesh, for some reason, just no longer has collision. Imagine. No. I don't know if CCD would fix anything, but... I don't know what difference that would make, especially on a network, but I guess we could find out. Could you make the dead players do something while they're dead? Possibly. That is seemingly helping. At what cost? I'm not sure. Maybe we can change it on a timer or something. I would imagine continuous collision detection has to be a boolean that we can set in runtime. But yeah, making the dead players do something while they're dead. Maybe? Maybe? You're a basiator? I wish we could I could make it so you can crouch while jumping, because I kind of like that part. It's a little Half-Life-y in some ways. Let's see if we can change that. Where's the can crouch? Oh god, we're about to get into a world of hurt. Fucking shit. Is moving on ground probably why it's not able to do it? Hold on, let's check. The dead players can play slots for maximum adrenaline. Oh, that'd be fucking funny. Let's see. I have a feeling it has something to do with that. Equals horizontal capsule. How does it determine what type of capsule type it is? Or just make them visual ghosts like Peak did, which is pretty funny looking, to be honest. I kind of like the idea of, like, when a player dies, you just don't hear them anymore. It adds a little bit like a horror element. It's also funny, like when your friend is saying something and then they fucking cut out, or they're screaming and then they cut out. Yeah. But I think we'll find out in due time. I think we'll find out in due time as we work on stuff. He's moving on ground, so I think that's part of the problem. Ah. Here we're also checking if we're moving on the ground. So let's do that. Let's unhook that real quick. And then in the set stance, we have that check in that section that checks if we were moving on the ground. Let's also change that real quick. Oh shit, when you jump, it kind of gets a little weird. It's almost like it's instantly moving us down. Let them talk through the train PA system. I'm sure we can find some like really goofy ways of letting people that are dead do some fun stuff, you know? Like, at the end of the day, everything is about having fun. Adjust position. I don't know what adjust position would mean. Oh, okay. I have no idea what I just pressed. Okay, we can use that. I think adjust position. Okay, that one's correct. It's just this one we want to cut out, just so that way we can do whatever we want to while we're moving around. What's the main in-game objective? Have fun, but the main thing is keep the train going and survive. Eating slop. Do you think having only 1.5 gigabytes free on my C drive is bad? I was told, I don't know if this is outdated information, but on SSDs at least, having very low space, I think kills your SSD faster. That's why I upgraded my C drive, because it was absolute fucking pain dealing with, I used to have a SSD that was, I think, only 256 gigs, and that was awful. Yeah, I do like that too, Monk. Having TTS. I don't know if I'll implement TTS. I feel like if I implement in TTS, I feel like people might think I'm copying repo. You know what I mean? I don't want that to be the case, you know? Maybe we'll do something. Oh, you know what we could do? We could do fuck, what am I thinking of? George Brown? No, not George Brown. What's the thing where like the adults talk like, you know what I mean? Like that. They talk like that, almost like it's. You know, who am I thinking of? Charlie Brown? Is it Charlie Brown? I think it is Charlie Brown. No, not The Sims. I'm pretty sure it's Charlie Brown. When the adults talk in Charlie Brown, I was like, I don't remember if it was like a trumpet or something else. Charlie Brown adults talking for 1 hour. I think it is a trombone. It is a trombone. I just remembered. we could pull one of these, dude. Hold on, listen to this. Listen.
Oh, good grief. Yes, ma'am?
Oh my god. What if we do that and then like we have a different instrument or like a different vibe? If like you're yelling like in all caps and shit. Dude, that could work. It'd be different while still being able to have text chat. I can see that being kind of funny. That could be funny. Okay. We can crouch jump again. Ah, yes. We can crouch jump again. Yes, very good. There was one thing I noticed, though. It's when we uncrouch. Yes, uncrouch. K2 on end crouch. Wait, that's not even running. Oh. Let me try unhooking this. Like, I know what it's trying to do for when we get into the crawling state, but let's see if we can make do without it. Wait, are we trying to uncrouch in here? Guys? Did I break something with like a can uncrouching system? I think we messed up something with the can uncrouch. I have no clue which part of this. Set root collision extent safe, meaning no change will be applied if the new extent would cause a blocking collision. Set root collision extent safe. Is that like... We do have server authority on that, but I think in the client we have something different. Let's try. Does that make it so the crouching is fucking broken still? Hold on. Oh yeah. It doesn't check if it's safe. Uh-huh. Oh, so it tries to uncrouch. I wish it just would not uncrouch if you have something above you. I feel like I'd be okay with it not uncrouching if we have something above us. I hate when people do this shit. They fucking stack things like a burger. What do you think this is? McDonald's? Dude, come on, man. I can't fucking read any of this. Like, where's this going? Okay. Now I can actually read some of this code a little better. Hold on. Okay, so one big problem we have right now is the collision will still interp tolerance 0.99. What if I do 0.1? Five? I'm not sure. Yeah, I wish it would not uncrouch if it doesn't have enough space. I don't know where the uncrouch is actually occurring though. I don't know, dude. No clue what is going on. Set stance, get target stance. Is there a function that uncrouches or being reset? Well, so this is us checking if we want to crouch, right? We do have this, so we set this to client authority output. I don't remember what it was before. I think it was server authority client validated, but I don't know if that actually makes any difference to the crouching. No. I think it's like the capsule is trying to scale itself back up rather than just completely denying it. I don't know how to change that. Maybe there has to be a way, right? Does anyone have a list of changes made? Like, what do you mean by changes made? Like, list of changes? Like, from version to version? Land on edges, slide when landing, simplify step up, grounding without gravity, use safe rotations, smooth mesh. I am curious what is going on. All right, this is actually all different in here. I don't know if there's a way that I can... What is this called, actually? They're using specific terminology for... Lerp root collision half height. Or standing. Upright. What if I set this to 0.1? Has to be a way of making it so we cannot stand up if there's not enough space. Well, it was working in our prior older version, right? It was working in our older version. If your component root collision has valid root collision extent. Has valid root collision extent. Has valid root collision extent. I need to somehow make it so we don't... Yeah, pre-GMC was working just fine. Of course, but that functioned a little differently. So now we just have to be sure that we can somehow make it so we can't uncrouch. Let me try this. I'm going to put this here. We're going to play on one client. So that's occurring. It's allowing us to crouch up. Let me debug this real quick. Current stance is set to 1. Okay, so it's not the current stance. It's something to do with our extent height, which I don't know where that occurs. Set root collision shape, target shape, sphere radius scaled. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yaha. Yaha. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a local variable. Can I get that on tick? Wait, hold on. Where are we? Does it look correct from the outside? No, you can kind of see some of the a little bit of the freaking out going on. It's going like let's see if I can see that node running. Okay. Is crouched. Target stance. Wants to crouch is false. Wants to crouch. Get target stance is upright. Okay. Wants to crouch is false. Where do we use get target stance? Hold on, I'm just looking at this right now. So target stance is upright. Our target is we want to go upright. Lerp root collision half height. Can we somehow check if we have enough space? Hold on, wait. Oh, it's going into false. And then it says maintain mesh offset. God, I hate how it says not in scope. Like, that's just... I do see... smooth offset. Can I take off scaled? I'm curious what that changes. Okay, I need to see like what part of this is allowing us to stand up. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me also debug what the stance is. Oh, interesting. It's still keeping crouched, even though we have no space. So I don't understand why. I actually don't understand why it's uncrouching then. um, uh, er, uh, er, er. Oh. Hmm. Um. Let me see. Let's take a look at the documentation. Maybe there's something in here about about crouching. I don't know. Don't think so, but maybe there is. Um. It's also possible I broke it, but I don't know. I'd have to look at the demo to see if I messed with anything in here. But yeah, the half height is slightly resetting. Kind of sucks. Partial immersion. Okay, that's for fluids. We don't have any fluids at the moment. Dude, I don't know how to make it so he can I guess what would that be called? Like partial? No, it's like a partial standing up or like a it's all like default binding shit. Damn him. Darn! Balls! I don't know. I don't know how to make it so it cannot stand up unless you if you have the exact space to stand up. I'm uncertain. I don't know. I don't know where that would go. I don't know where that would go. Let me let's take a look at this. Can I actually see any of these values? Okay, guess I'll die then. Zero. Why is it all zero? Why is it all zero, man? Actually, this node isn't even running. Maintain mesh offset simulated? Wait, hold on. It's not even... Oh, movement update simulated. Oh, I'm stupid. You know, I'm kind of dumb. A little bit. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I can make it so... Let's take a look at any nodes that are exposed to root collision. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any documentation on this specifically. I should check out the demo to see if it occurs in the demo. If it doesn't happen in the demo, it means I've adjusted something and pooped on it. It's not like a big problem, but obviously it's nice to not have bugs like that where you can just clip your camera into the wall. You know, probably pretty good to not do that. You know what I mean? I just want to see where extents are being changed. Like what's the node that's changing the extent? Is it this? Is it lerp root collision half height? The target half height is the default half height, which should be working. Where is that being set? Where is this being set? Get the root collision extent. Right? Okay. So it is actually reading of our half height. It is reading our half height. Okay. Target value for the interpolation, interp speed, interp tolerance. Let me read this code and see where is interp tolerance actually being used. Because I think tolerance would be what we'd want to mess around with. But I don't know. Dude, I don't know. I don't know. Adjust position. Yeah, I don't know. Adjust direction up. Interp tolerance. It says 0.99. Let's do 0.1. I wonder. Uh-oh. I wonder if that makes any difference. Wow, you can do that. I also noticed when you uncrouch, it changes your height. I don't know if you guys are noticing that. Do you guys notice that? I don't know if it's because we're standing on this object and it like messes up our standing height. Yeah, we got a couple, you know, we got a couple things we need to fix. Maybe we make it so you can't crouch jump. But I do like crouch jumping. Crouch jumping is fun. Let's see if that actually does anything. I don't think it will. Well, obviously it fixes the issue where we can't get into like a weird space, but let's check out the vent real quick. Can we stand up while being in the vent? I'm curious. Maybe it's just that one spot. Yeah, see, we can stand up. It's partially standing us up. Green pixel! Is it fixed? I don't know. No. Weirdly enough, it's just this one space. I guess the window's too small. No, dude, the window's larger than the vent. That doesn't make any sense. This shit doesn't make any sense. Do you not have collision there? We do. This is all using complex collision at the moment. So maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's because it's on complex collision. Who knows? I would love to make it so the uncrouch does not uncrouch unless you have no space, but I don't think there is any settings in here to fix that. So I think it's just how it is. Put a cube at the top and see if it works. Let's see here. Basic ass primitive. Okay, cube. Yeah, it's still maybe there's a parameter that I like forgot about. Maybe there's a parameter I forgot. Let's see. Crouch. Crouched half height. Maybe the crouched half height is like way too small. Wait. I'm setting the radius. I'm setting the half height to 25, but the radius to 26. This might have to be 27. I think about it. We have to make that. I think it being smaller might be the problem. No, it's still doing it. It's like allowing the interpolation to go through when we uncrouch. I just want to make it so we can't uncrouch at all. Also, when I try to uncrouch, it we get stuck. So that's interesting. I want to try something. Print string. How's it doing the extents? The extent to check, I guess we just split this off. Extent X and extent Y is... Do we have a radius? And then half height. Do we have to multiply the half height by 2? I wonder. Turns the path vector as a valid extent. The path collision shape. A valid extent vector has no zero or nearly zero components, no negative components, and has the same values for components that refer to the same property. The half height cannot be smaller than the radius if there are different values for the same property. Okay, so this is actually not what I was thinking it would do, which is checking if there's space. That's great. That's not helpful for us. I need to find, what is this called again? What would be the category for this? General movement component? I can't speak. I can't type. Help. Okay, I want to see if we can can't step up. No. I feel like there has to be. Let me try unhooking that. Let me see if it's still. Okay. So that's going through. We might be able to do something here that doesn't allow upright to go through. It has to be here, man. Something with the lerp root collision half height with the interp tolerance. I don't know. There has to be. There has to be something in here. We could do like a line trace to look upwards. Like we could just hack it in. We could hack this shit in. We could technically hack this shit in and not care. There has to be something in here though that checks it, but let's just fuck it. I don't really need that. So this will be our way of checking if we can stand up. Wait, hold on. What we're going to do is do a branch. And we want to check if the current, what is get current stance, if it is equal to crouched, which is 1. If false, then go ahead and execute the code no matter what. Let's do this. Okay, starting point. How does this shit check for like the fucking owning pawn? What kind of variables do we have exposed to us? This might not even work in multiplayer, by the way. I'm just saying. And then the end point is going to be plus, plus like this. Let's do 60, or maybe the correct thing actually would be checking the half height. Plus a bit extra. But let's just do 60. Yeah. Actually, no. Get half height. This is the right way to do it, I believe. Plus probably a bit extra, but whatever. Let's do for a duration. Okay. Okay. If true, if there is a hit, If false, go ahead, do this. If true, let's just run the crouch code again. So now, let me debug this real quick. Also, Carrie, thank you for the prime. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, I'm deep in the sauce. Okay, so now you can see we have a hit, so it's going to continue the crouching. And then when we stand back up, so now if I go into the window, it won't uncrouch because there's something hitting. Now, I do see a little bit of a janky moment going on. Oh shit, but because it's only halfway, it's actually still considering it as crouched. So it's good-ish. We're probably going to want to do a sphere trace by channel. And we'll do radius of 16. Should be fine. Although, ideally, we'd actually want to use the radius, but let's do 20, I think should be fine. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, good point, Graphic. Yeah, we just experienced that right after doing it. Now, that being said, GMC is smart. It's actually not uncrouching, but we still have an issue where we end up seeing the inside of the camera and shit, which is not a good time. Okay, so works on server, but do it work on client? Is the client getting... Yes. Okay. All right, clients. One of you get in there. One of you, actually, both of you are going to get in there. But let's just double check. Yes. 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 I got to put back in the source-esque crouch jumping. We got to bring it back in. Let's bring it back in. Bring it back in. Do the test again. Get target stance. All right, put that in and force it through. So then we can crouch while jumping. Some weird little moment there, right here. But that's fine. All right, next up. Why do you do that? Whatever. Was GMC? It's a plugin, yeah. General movement component. Cool. So we put in our own crouch system. Now that being said, I don't know if that's the correct way of doing it. I'm also curious, are we still running this code to change the camera location, or is it doing its own thing? Oh. Interesting. Oh! I think the default half height for the eyes is like way lower, and I don't know if that's something in here. Half eyes? Oh shit. Base eye height, crouch. I actually don't know how it's moving the eyes, if at all. Let's go ahead and set that to 45. Although I would prefer to do an interpolation. Right now we're not doing an interpolation for this. Yeah, our eyes are like way too tall right now. That's just so we can fit underneath this shit. Capsule turns into a cube when crouching. No, he's gonna turn into a sphere whenever I put in that stuff in there. Wait, what does he look like when he looks up when he's crouched? Oh my god. Looks hysterical. Alright. Well, everything's working on GMC? Kind of. Sort of. Does it feel like we made any progress today? I guess we have sprinting, and it works properly on replicated clients, so I guess that's good. I guess we did do some progress. How is it in your opinion? It is expensive. I don't think it's expensive for what it does, especially considering the man hours it would take to create that if you were doing like a competitive game or something like that where you need all of those systems like rollback and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's expensive. Because if you were to do this yourself and have to do all that stuff, it would probably be a pain. Do you need GMC? No, you probably don't. I probably could have put in a sprinting system by just following like that one guide that someone posted in chat, which I still have to watch because it actually has some pretty good information from what I've seen. But I was curious about it because I kept hearing things about GMC, and I can also change like all of the capsules and stuff like that. And I haven't even seen the extent of what I could do with it yet. So giving an opinion, I think, would be unjust to the plugin, I think, currently. It's super cool, though, based off of my limited experience with it. The fact that you can bind variables and it already handles like this stuff for you, and you don't need to set the variable to replicate it and do all that bullshit of setting the replication. It instead kind of handles it for you. That's kind of sick. That on its own is kind of cool. You know, that's kind of cool. And you could do server authoritative stuff and all this other stuff. Like I don't know to how. I still don't even fully know how this is functioning. What would be the best way to starting a new project? Should I just jump straight into UE or plan? Have a brief plan, but don't spend too much time planning. Because once you start getting into it and start working on stuff, that plan will change. It will shift. And all of that stuff you end up writing or planning will just kind of go out the window. So I'd say get started in the engine or whatever you're doing ASAP. God, I hate this. I have a feeling it's because this person's coming from a C++ angle, which is why they're stacking everything. But I hate these burger patties of code. I hate doing that. It makes it harder to read. Because I like reading from left to right, not bottom to top. What is this? A manga? Manga? I don't know how to properly say it. Don't shoot me for that. So yeah, would I say it's expensive? For what it is offering or intending to offer, and what I've seen so far with my limited knowledge, I don't think it's that expensive. When you start correlating your time and the things that you create to a dollar amount, which is like basically what you would correlate it to when you're doing like contract work or whatnot, you're going to start realizing, wow, you're spending a lot of time / money trying to figure out a bunch of stuff yourself. Now, there's nothing wrong with figuring out stuff yourself. Don't get me wrong. It's a good way to learn, obviously. But, yeah. What's GMC? It's like a movement component plugin that completely replaces the Unreal character movement component. It's a bit overwhelming because there's a lot. There's a lot of different stuff in here. I'll probably figure it out over time. There's some stuff in here that I even fucked around with, like montages. Like, I literally don't know how montages are going to work. So there's some server authority for that. So I'm curious what montages are going to look like. I don't know how many montages we're going to use in this project. I think the enemies will use montages. So maybe we use the GMC component on enemies as well. That'd be interesting. What if you grab or throw while crouching? Should work just the same. Yeah, works just the same basically. I'm going in. At the moment, I'm not interested in anything that's not free. That's all right. I was like that when I was starting out in development or game development. And then as I got further into it, I was like, you know what, actually, I kind of do value my time a little bit. Plus, you know, this is my like full-time job, basically. So, or job, my job. This is my job. So obviously I'm going to invest in it more so than maybe other people that are treating it in a different way. Anyways, I gotta get this update out as well for Suit for Hire. I gotta do that soon. I'm gonna go. Thanks for dropping by. Today was a get shit working day with other thing. And we got it working. We got sprinting in now. I gotta get the sound effects working on it because it's all anim notify based. Yeah, the sprint looks so fucking stupid. It's just the default mannequin sprint. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. I also got to hook up some controllers to see what the actual locomotion is like, because right now I'm just... I don't actually know if this is the slowest movement speed we can go. I don't know. Anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow is... Yep, tomorrow, Wednesday. I don't think I have any... Am I doing anything tomorrow? No, I don't think so. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for lurking, chatting, and sticking around. Tomorrow, hopefully more progress. Today we didn't really make too much. Well, we got sprinting in, and sprinting works in multiplayer now, and it works perfectly, and we don't have any rubber banding and weird stuff happening, so that's big. That's big. That's big. Many people will see, well, but sprinting in single player, you just set the speed. Well, in multiplayer, you don't got that kind of privilege, unfortunately. It's a lot more shit to do. Anyways. Yep. We got to get started on the mini game stuff ASAP. We need to get started on the health system ASAP. Yeah. We got to get to the video game part of the video game soon. All right. Have a great day. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for dropping by. Goodbye. See you then. Yeah, I'm hungry.